I've got a great guest right in the studio here for our first segment because, not everybody has their own ideas about what they want to get into for business. Some folks are in the corporate world looking for an opportunity. So my first guest today, Bob, is Pete Gilfillan from Winning Franchise Solutions. Now, Pete helps people achieve their dreams of business ownership. With over 20 years of experience as a corporate executive across multiple industries, combined with a history of small business ownership.
Nice.
Pete offers a wide breadth of experience to his candidates. In 2012, he launched Winning Franchise Solutions. You could find them at buyfranchisebusiness.com. B-U-Y-F-R franchisebusiness.com.
There you
can spell
go.
That, okay?
That's enough.
Buyfranchisebusiness.com, a franchise consultancy that connects successful business people with winning franchise opportunities. Pete, welcome to Game Changers.
Thanks. Great being here.
Now, I read your history. You've got some great experience in corporate world as an executive for Ford Motor Company and Terex. Now, why did you leave all of that behind to become an entrepreneur?
I had a great career at Ford Motor Company. It's a fabulous company. They gave me awesome opportunities. And what I found is that you pay for those opportunities. And so I found myself working very long days, the 18-hour days and traveling. And you relocate when they want you to relocate. And so I decided that I wanted to take control of my own destiny, both financially and my time. And so I decided to become an entrepreneur and have fun.
And you decided to sort of, on another layer, help other people get into business. So how did you get involved in helping people investigate and invest in franchise businesses?
Yeah, so I started my journey. I left the corporate world and I said, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to own a portfolio of businesses. So I bought my first franchise about 2 years ago. And it was a lesson learned.
Yeah.
So I didn't have somebody that was really helping me through the process. And so I didn't pick the best franchise for me. It ultimately turned out to be a good opportunity. I ended up selling it, did fine on it. But I realized as I was helping people find businesses, I was a master franchise. So I helped people, look at the particular franchise concept. And I realized that I really liked helping people do that. So I got affiliated with a company called FranChoice a year and a half ago. And that really got me started on the path of helping people.
Now, I understand that your family owns some businesses, too. Tell me about that.
So I was raised in an entrepreneur family. Both my grandfather and father were car dealers. And so I learned very early. I started working in the dealerships. And at the age of 16, I was repossessing cars for pro athletes. So my dad used to give cars to coaches and players, and when they didn't return them, my dad would drop me off with a spare set of keys and make me repossess the car.
That's a great job.
Kind of scary.
Some probably cool some pretty cool cars, I imagine.
Yeah, it was adventurous at best.
So you're entrepreneurial by upbringing.
Yes.
So when I think of franchises, and what most people think of are big names like Subway and McDonald's comes to mind. Now, are there other types of franchises available?
Yeah, and everybody thinks of Subway first, but there are franchises in almost every industry now. And what you're seeing is kind of the mom and pop businesses are now going to franchises. So whether it's locksmiths to martial arts, to even yogurt or anything like that, you're seeing franchises in almost every industry. And so there's kind of a business opportunity as it pertains to a franchise for almost everybody today.
Now, is there a difference? Like, say, for example, when you think of Subway and McDonald's, you're buying into also a known brand. What about some of these other lesser known or unknown names? You're buying a system instead of like a brand?
Well, I think you're really buying both because when you invest in a franchise, what we're looking to do is put you in a very solid or a proven franchise. We'll call it winning franchise concept. And so it's proven out. We know that they've got a good, solid leadership team. They've got strong financials to build out the network, and they've got happy franchisees. So you might be early in the curve in terms of there may be new franchisees, or they may be established and been around for 20 years. In all cases, our job is to really connect you with a proven one where you have a higher probability, and as the brand grows, you grow too.
Now, do a lot of the folks that come to you for help, are they coming from the corporate world, or who makes up your client base?
Well, I get both. I really get entrepreneurs that want to diversify their portfolio of businesses. So they have an existing business, they want to take their capital and leverage it, but they want to diversify. To executives that get burned out, they get laid off, or whatever it may be, they come to me and say, I want to look at an alternative to going back into the corporate world. Help me look at business opportunities.
Now, could you give me an example of like a business owner that you helped like diversify their portfolio of businesses through franchising?
Yeah. So, for example, last year I helped a gentleman. He owned a very successful business, a mortgage business. And he came to me and said, Pete, I'm in a very cyclical business. And what I want to do is I want to diversify because as it goes down, I want to have something else that I can lean on. So he set me out and he said, no, Pete, I want a business where I can leverage my available capital. I want to get the highest possible return. I want my cash on cash payback as fast as possible. And I want it to be semi-absentee, meaning I only can put 10 to 15 hours a week into it. So we went out and searched and we found a franchise opportunity where he'll open up multiple units in the western suburbs here in the next couple of years.
Now, on the other side of the coin, could you share an example of how you helped somebody like recently laid off from their job, like invest in a franchise business as an alternative to getting another job?
Yeah, so I worked with an executive. He ran a large IT department, and it was finally his turn. He got laid off, and he said, Pete, I'm looking at other jobs. I just don't know if I want to go back into the corporate world, or can I look at businesses? And so he did a kind of a dual path. He looked for jobs. He looked at franchise opportunities. We found a great franchise opportunity for him, and he's now up and running.
So how do you help people, Pete? I mean, does somebody do they find you after they've made a mistake, or is that something where you kind of capture them as they're looking for a franchise?
Yeah, I really want to catch them when they're in the process of they're at a fork in the road. They're ready for change, whether it's diversifying their business or looking for a new professional development in terms of their career. And so my job is really to get to know them. And that's the fun part is I get to know people, learn about what they're looking for, the characteristics in their business, and what they want to accomplish with that business. And so if I catch them early enough, I can save them a lot of time because learning about what they want and what they want to accomplish, I actually develop a model for them that recaps exactly what they're looking for. And then I help research the franchise opportunity. So I can save them time and point them in the right direction.
Now, is there a fee to work with you, or how does that work?
No, the best part about this is I work on their behalf, and so I help them figure out what they want to accomplish, to researching the franchises, to being a consultant as they investigate these franchise concepts. The best part about this is that they don't ever sign a contract. They never have to pay me anything. The way in which I get compensated is the franchisor will pay a referral fee if they do invest in the franchise. So they get all that kind of all that support, and it doesn't cost them anything other than a little bit of time. Maybe putting up a few of my bad jokes.
Well, that's really, what a valuable resource. Because the number of franchises available is just staggering these days. Like you said, there's franchises everywhere. And how do you know if a particular franchise is right for you? Maybe you like frozen yogurt, but maybe you wouldn't like running a frozen yogurt place, right?
Yeah, so how do you find the right fit for a candidate? What do you look for?
Yeah, and again, there's 2,500 franchises out there. What I would tell people is the last thing you probably should do is go to the internet and click on 20 different concepts because you'll get calls from everyone and you'll want to shut off your phone and disconnect your email. What I do is really, again, what I think sets me apart from others is that I'm learning about them, what characteristics. I don't like managing people. I like managing people. I don't really like sales bottom line is that I need to make this type of income to support my family. Whatever it may be, that's my job to learn that. And then taking those characteristics and what they want to accomplish, then I go and I look at very carefully screened or proven franchise concepts to match them up.
You probably can't do this in 30 seconds, but what is the deal between buying a single unit versus multiple units? What's the advice?
Yeah, what I would tell you is that I'm seeing a lot now of the multi-unit play. I call it kind of the executive model where somebody is wanting to build a very large business in terms of revenue and cash flow. And you can scale franchises two different ways. You can buy a very large service franchise and add trucks. But what I see a lot of people doing is adding and buying multiple franchises in terms of a concept.
Pete, how do folks get a hold of you to learn more about this?
Best place to go is my website, buyfranchisebusiness.com.
Buyfranchisebusiness.com. Pete, thanks for sharing with us today on the Game Changers.
Thanks.
Hey, and join us on the website. More about Pete and his business, GameChangersRadioshow.com.